All right, so we did a fight plan, and on Pacquiao and Spence, we thought you would enjoy it. Obviously, it was a huge fight until it got canceled, but we're still going to show it to you. We put a lot of time, a lot of work into it, and me and Ken, and Ken thought he looked good moving, so he talked me into still releasing it. He wanted to show off his footwork and his ability to mimic a southpaw in Manny. So I gave in. I said, yeah, we'll definitely release that fight plan anyway. But in all seriousness, we want you to see what would have taken place, at least in my eyes. And so you're still going to get a chance to see it. That fight eventually is going to happen. I would be shocked if it doesn't. Obviously, Pacquiao does have to win the fight with his replacement, Ugas. I believe he'll win that fight. I'll give you a quick breakdown of that in a second, of how that fight, I believe, is going to go. But you're going to wind up seeing, unless, like I said, unless there's an upset and something really strange happens and Pacquiao doesn't get through this, which, is possible if he suddenly gets old. But otherwise, the Spence-Pacquiao fight plan is something that is still going to be something useful when they do fight. And even now, to see what Pacquiao does. So if you're looking to make some thoughts about making a pick with the Ugas fight, I think it'll be helpful in that way too. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. You watch it. It'll be up. And let me tell you something about the replacement, the Ugas fight. Ugas, styles make fights. And Spence is a southpaw. Ugas is not a southpaw. So Manny's been preparing for a southpaw. He'll make the adjustment. Now he's fighting an orthodox fighter. Listen, he's fought a million orthodox fighters. So it won't be hard for him to make that adjustment, even though he's been in camp, for 8 weeks, for the most part, working against southpaws. And for Ugas, he's in shape. He was on the undercard of this fight, so he was always preparing for this date. So it's not like he's taking it on short notice and not ready. He'll be physically ready. And it's a great, great opportunity for him. So you would think that he's mentally going to be what he needs to be, obviously, too. So now, Ugas, though, does have to deal with the southpaw. So Ugas wasn't preparing for a southpaw. So now he has to deal with the southpaw. So that's an adjustment on his part. And Ugas, well, the style couldn't be much, much different than Spence. I mean, it couldn't be more different, I should say, because Spence is a aggressive fighter, a very strong welterweight, goes to the body in a consistent manner, brings a lot of pressure. He also has a great jab. Hey, look, he's dimensional. He can box too, Spence, but he likes to apply pressure. Ugas, not so much. Ugas is a counterpuncher. Ugas is a bronze medalist from the famous Cuban Olympic team, the Cuban amateur team. They have great amateur fighters. As I said, he won a bronze medal in the Olympics. He's a guy that's going to look to take advantage of maybe reckless aggression on Manny's part. Look to catch Manny coming in. And if Manny stands in front a little bit, like he did with Mayweather, I know it's a whole different sort of person, no kidding. But if he stands in front, what did Mayweather do? He used the southpaw killer, the right hand, the straight right hand. And he was able to catch Manny with that a lot, standing in front. So Ugas is going to look for the right hand, the southpaw killer. If Manny stands in front, Ugas is going to look to counter Manny, as I said. Hope that Manny makes some mistakes, comes in a little reckless, which he does sometimes, comes in a little hot, a little fast, a little out of control, and look to catch him with counters. Ugas is also a good body puncher, not as relentless going to the body as Spence's, but he goes to the body with the left hook pretty darn good. Not bad at all. So look for those dimensions. Look for the counter punching of Ugas. But here's the key. Ugas is a conservative, solid fighter, but a conservative, calm, deliberate guy. He doesn't waste much. In other words, he's not busy. The one thing that hurts him is sometimes he can be outworked. He can be out-hustled. I thought he got out-hustled in the Porter fight. I thought he technically won the Porter fight, to be honest. But I thought that it got stolen from him with the jab maybe of Porter, where he just outworked him, out-hustled him on a couple scorecards. So look for Manny, I think, to have great opportunities to outwork him, to out-hustle him, to outscore him. I mean, Manny's one of the busiest fighters you're ever going to see anyway, besides one of the fastest fighters you're ever going to see. So I'm going to look for Manny Pacquiao to out-hustle, outwork, outperform Ugas in a good fight, a competitive fight. But I'm looking for Manny to win a unanimous decision. Here's the one if. Unless Manny becomes suddenly old. He's 42 years old. He's been unbelievable. He's like a miracle. He's just special. What he did with Porter, the way he still performs. But sooner or later, old man time is going to get his hands on him. I don't know if it's going to be now, but fighters, they become old in the ring. That's the only thing that I hold back a little bit, is if Manny suddenly becomes old on fight night. But that aside, the way Manny's been looking in camp, from all the reports I've heard, he's been looking real good. Again, Manny too busy, too fast. Too much Manny Pacquiao. He wins a decision over Ugas.
Welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Dynamic Striking. I'm Ken Rideout, joined by the face of Box Raw's new 36 collection, Teddy Atlas, coming to you live today from the Trinity Boxing Club in Lower Manhattan. We're going to do a special edition today. We're going to do a fight plan on Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. What are you looking for, Teddy?
You know, the first thing I think about when you mention that name, Manny Pacquiao, is there any fighter on this planet who's more iconic or more heralded than the legend Manny Pacquiao? And I think maybe one. And believe it or not, it's the one that he's fighting in his next fight. And no, it's not the undefeated Errol Spence. It's another undefeated fighter, Father Time. At 42 years of age, that's the question right here. Can Manny beat the legend, the slayer of men, Father Time? Well, that's the question. And then we're going to go inside here to get the answer. And we're going to do it with somebody who has beaten Mr. Time, Mr. Ken Rideout.
Teddy, before we jump in there, today's episode is brought to you by MyBookie. Check them out at mybookie.ag and get 50% off your first deposit up to $1,000 when you use the promo code ATLAS. That's ATLAS at mybookie.ag.
It's time.
It's time. Let's do it. All right, Teddy, we've got Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence coming up. What does Manny Pacquiao have to do to win this fight?
Well, the first thing, we have two southpaws. So Manny's going to be looking in the mirror. He's not going to have that advantage he usually has. We're coming from the wrong way, the wrong direction as a lefty. So he's going to have to hope, and I think it's hope against hope, because he depends on himself, that Spence doesn't come forward with the jab. Because that's going to throw a monkey wrench into the works, make it more difficult. A lot of people don't realize how important that jab is to Spence. Manny would love, if he could get Spence to agree, never happened, to come in a little bit like Thurman did, where Manny could counterpunch all night long. But either way you slice it, Manny's going to need his legs. And at 42 years of age, well, most fighters, the legs aren't dependable at that point in their career. I think Manny's legs are still good enough. I think the wheels are still there. And you're going to play Mr. Spence in the southpaw position. And I think that Manny, being a southpaw, obviously, he's going to have to use those legs, as he has throughout his career, to go in and out, side to side. You heard it before, angles. You heard those comments, angles. Get the guy angles, keep him off balance. If he's a strong guy, if he's a physical guy, he can't be strong and physical if you give him angles. Very true. Can Manny do that? If he just walks in, Manny's going to want to do what he did with Thurman. He walks in, bang, 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 counter, move, bang, bang, move to the side. Give him more balance. Keep him a little bit dizzy, if you will. Either way you slice it, Manny's going to want to get off, get out. He comes at him. He's going to want to sidestep. He turns on him, get to the other side, get to the other side, get to the other side. Being slow helped you that time because I ran right into the wrong side. So, legs, wheels. And there's one other thing to look for with Manny. I think he's got to slow down an 11-year younger, very strong, determined, you might even say relentless fighter. He might have to hurt him. He might have to hurt him. Manny hasn't hurt a lot of guys recently, but he still has that power and he still has a trick. His legs, we talked about, and a real Manny move, his straight left hand. He'd love to land the right uppercut, don't get me wrong, but being that he's fighting a fellow southpaw, I'm not so sure the right hook, I'm sorry, I said uppercut. I'm not sure the right hook, the counter hook's gonna be there facing a southpaw. So he's gonna have to look for the other power punch, the left hand. It's a Manny special. How he can hurt him is this. Manny is so good at this. Where he'll slip over here, and you see how your eyes went with me? He's very deceiving. Misperception, misdirection, trickery. Where he slips over here, so you think something's coming here. Bang! And he simultaneously throws the straight left just at the right time. So he'll slip over here. He's making you think about this. So he slip over here, bop, and throws that left hand. You never see the punch coming. If he does that, well, that kind of punch can hurt or slow down Spence, and that's what he's going to need to do. Legs, and maybe that Manny special, the left hand, to slow him down, to get his respect. And to beat Father Time. If he can do that, maybe Father Time finally gets a loss put on his record. Well, you've been, like I said outside, you've been beating Father Time for some time.
All right, Teddy, we talked about what Manny has to do. What does Errol Spence have to do to win this fight?
Well, he's got to bring... A lot of people, when you talk about Errol Spence, they think seek and destroy missile. They really do. They think relentless. He is, don't get me wrong. But he's not just a seek and destroy missile. He's a damn good boxer. He showed that with Mikey Garcia. What did he beat Mikey Garcia with? The jab. The jab. The jab is really important in this fight with this icon, Manny Pacquiao. Because Manny likes to control the rhythm of a fight. We talked about it, we showed it with his legs in and out, controlling things that way, controlling space, keeping you off balance. You use that jab, it's hard to do that. It breaks up the rhythm of another fighter. It doesn't let him get to the rhythm he wants to get to, where he's controlling the pace of the fight, the theme of the fight, if you will. So it starts with the southpaw jab, with two southpaws here. And it starts with that jab. Again, Spence, probably underrated for how important that punch is. Where bang, bang, and he throws it straight. It's accurate. There's nothing wasted. It doesn't miss much. He knows how to use it. He's very confident using it, and he uses it at the right distance where he's in control. Not from a distance where you can count on him, where you can't count on him. Where bang, where he gets full length on the jab. Bang. So every time you're trying to get started, again, try to get bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. He's keeping you off balance, off rhythm. He's disrupting. It's a disruptor. So that's number one. Number two, he's a damn good body puncher. Now, Manny has a habit of just covering up, putting the earmuffs on, as I like to say. Earmuffs. Who's going to put earmuffs on? It's about 110 degrees. But that's one of the boxing phrases that I like to use. and he just covers up. When you cover up just like that, guess what? You give the guy a chance to put water in the basement, to go downstairs. It's like a heavy bag. It's a perfect. So, if Manny does that, and he did it with Thurman, but he got away with it. Thurman did not dedicate himself enough to the body. He was throwing and he was getting out. He kind of gave Manny a pass, but again, I don't think Spence is going to give him a pass. I think he'll use the jab to get him into that earmuff, and then he'll go over. Bang, over, bang, 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 bang. Once you start banging that body and putting water in there, guess what? It floods. Water travels. It travels. And it floods upstairs. And I think that's going to be a big part of it. And the other, I'm sorry I touched you a little bit there, but I just want to see if you've been doing your sit-ups. And you have been. You're in great shape. That's good. You need to be when you come here. You never know. The final thing is, I think there's going to be an opportunity. Manny's speed has been so great, and he's gotten away with doing things that ordinary people can't do. But now he's just a notch slower. He likes to run red lights. He likes to jump in. He gets away with it. He's gotten away. He didn't get away with Marquez, though. He got set up that one time. But he gets away with it for the most part because he's so quick. I think that Spencer's such a rounded fighter that he might be able to set up a trap where he invites Manny in a little bit, where he jabs, he steps back, bang, bang. He invites him in and gets Manny to lunge, to jump, to reach a little bit, to expose himself just a little bit. Try it again. Where, again, he'll use the jab, he'll step out, boom, he'll say, bang, bang. And he'll just be able to counter when there's a little reach, a little lunge. See, Ken's too smart for it. He refused to throw the punch. Where he would really leave himself. He felt the body shots earlier, and he said, you think I'm going to throw a punch and expose this? This pretty face? Nah, I'm not doing that. My mom didn't raise a fool. If he does that, well, Spence could add an iconic name to his already growing resume. You know something about him. I mean, you're iconic. Yes, you are, see? And he's modest. Iconic and modest. What a combination.
Guys, once again, today's episode brought to you by MyBookie. Check them out at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code ATLAS for a 50% credit on your first deposit up to $1,000. Again, it's promo code ATLAS, ATLAS, at mybookie.ag.